I want to thank Robin by Carpenter Briscoe, a fabulous reading, and Chariot Duo, as well as our CSL music team for the fabulous music today. We're continuing our journey through Living Untethered, and today we're concentrating on part 5, the heart, and it includes chapters 16 through 20, understanding emotions, why the heart opens and closes, dance of the energy flow, the cause of moods and emotions, and the secrets of the heart. In this part of the book, Singer provides a deeper understanding of the origin of our thoughts and also how our heart opening and closing matters. So first, let me give you a question for the week. What is the one choice you can make today to remember love does not come from outside of you? To stop letting your blockages close your heart and to experience the force of love feeding you from the inside. One more time. What is that one choice you can make today to remember love does not come from outside of you? To stop letting your blockages close your heart and to experience the force of love feeding you from the inside. Singer begins this section by explaining that thoughts and emotions are not the same, though I do believe that many times they are confused as the same. He even suggests that when we're asked where our thoughts come from, we don't point to our toes, we point to our head. And when we're asked where our emotions come from, we typically point to our heart. And as Singer says, that's why Valentines have hearts on them and not toes. I know that I believe my thoughts come from my head and my emotions seem to come from my heart because my heart is the place impacted most by my emotions. How about you? I frequently talk about how our minds might lie to us when we're looking for answers, or sometimes they give us a to-do list, yet our hearts always tell us the truth. And they give us that emotion or that God quality behind what it is we're truly seeking. Singer invites us to move into witness consciousness, to watch our emotions. And I love the part of the chapter on understanding emotions in which Singer points this out. Without question, when your heart emanates a particular vibration of energy, your mind will start talking accordingly. It's very much like a freshwater spring. If you dive down to the source of the spring, there's going to be water bubbling up from the opening. When that water hits the surface, it creates ripples and all kinds of patterns. The activity of the surface is very different from what emanates at the source. Our emotions are a lot like that freshwater spring. And the root of our spring is the samskaras whose roots are stored in our heart. Remember that those samskaras are the things that we hang on to from birth that we haven't quite totally processed. Sometimes it's joyful things, but most of the time it's the things that were negative in our lives. I notice that when something is joyful and it's happening, that it's easy to get caught up in the joy of it. And when something's painful or sad, I often tend to occupy myself with things to do so that I don't have to dwell on that thing that's painful or sad. Singer puts this behavior this way. The mind becomes a place the soul goes to hide from the heart. Wow. the mind becomes a place the soul goes to hide from the heart. Singer offers that the way to quit hiding is to realize it's always the same conscious awareness experiencing whatever is going on inside. That's why in the reading today you heard these words. The actual flow of love has to do with you and your heart. It has nothing to do with anybody else. So he's telling us that to live untethered, we have to notice what opens and closes our hearts and not look on the outside for the answers or for the causes, but rather look within. That's another one of the lessons that we've learned from the boy, the mole, the fox, and the horse. Remember, he said, isn't it odd? We can only see our outside, but nearly everything happens on the inside. I loved that phrase the first time I heard it, and I think that it truly is reminding us everything does happen on the inside. And these chapters tell us that the flow of love is about what is going on the inside. Singer explains that there's 4 things that we experience on the inside. The first one, the world coming in. The second one, the thoughts of our mind. The third one, the emotions of our heart. And the fourth one, a powerful energy flow, or something that yogas call shakti. Shakti is a traditional yogic term, which you might refer to as chi or spirit. The essential thing is that you realize that this energy is constantly flowing inside of you. When we say things like, I'm on cloud 9, or I feel so drained, we're referring to our shakti, to our level of energy flowing through us. And Singer says, the reasons the energy flowing through the heart fluctuates so much is because of the samskaras you've stored inside. It's only natural to want to cling to the experiences that brought us joy and retreat from those that brought us sadness. And the truth is that stopping the unpleasant experiences creates unfinished energy patterns that block our energy flow. So when we ignore them, or when we make ourselves busy so we don't have to think about them, we aren't processing them. Some of you had probably heard my story about my belief that I'm not creative. When I was in 3rd grade, my art teacher looked at my pigs that were in my farm and told me I was a terrible artist. You are so not creative, Larry, is what I remember her saying. Now, when I had my own company, I made my living by creating graphics and documents and multimedia projects that companies use to sell their products. And I created spreadsheets for multi-million-dollar projects. And yet those words from when I was 8 were so powerful that anytime anyone would ask me to draw anything, I would panic. That unhealed energy around the pain from my farm pigs not being good enough stuck with me for over 50 years. If I had not had that comment from my teacher, I'm sure I would have enjoyed my required art classes a lot more. And to protect myself from more pain, I closed my heart to being an artist. I suspect that each of us has had a similar experience. Someone we trusted said something that made a huge impact on us and perhaps hurt us at some level, and bam, we stored a samskara right there in our heart. blocking future energy flow and showing up when a similar experience activated it and our heart closed. Singer reminds us, your samskaras are what cause your heart to open and close. So do we want to be in charge of our life or not? If so, there has to come a time when we fully understand our heart. In the Bible, John 7:36, we read, out of his heart will flow rivers of living water. What a beautiful phrase to help us understand to let go of blocked energy patterns that are keeping our living waters from showing up. In the chapter on Dance of the Energy Flow, Singer wrote, when you get really open, it, meaning the flow of energy, will flow out various energy centers like your heart, the point between your eyebrows, the palms of your hands. You will become a being of light, a being of energy. That's when the energy is free to flow, when it is not obstructed by personal blockages. I don't know about you, but I can say that I don't want my past samskaras running my life. So I want to take action and understand how to keep my heart open and how to keep the flow of energy moving through my entire being. So how do we go about doing that? Become aware of what I call triggers, those things that activate our samskaras, because that's how our emotions get activated. Love, fear, anger, whatever it might be. Singer makes a point of telling us that we label our emotions with lots of different names. Love, fear, anger, joy, jealousy, insecurity, freedom. Lots of different names. When in fact, all of our emotions result from some disturbance to our energy flow that was activated when a samskara from the past was stored at some point in our life. And yes, I did say all of our emotions. Singer likens our energy flow to a river. The bad news is when the blockages become so big that our heart feels blocked, we often feel tired or uninspired. It's like a dammed up river. No flow can get through. But the good news is that our energy flow seeks a way around the blockage. And when energy gets past the flow, past that dam, we start to feel more strength. Singer reminds us that this is the dance of the energy flow. Letting this opening and closing of your heart run your life is certainly not spiritual. You're not being true to yourself. You're being true to your blockages. That's all your psyche is. Your psyche is the net result of all your blockages and how the energy manages to flow through them. I don't know about you. I just know that I don't want to get lost behind that dam. And I suspect you don't want to be lost there either. Nor do I want to allow my blockages to dominate my life so much that I feel like I'm just managing my suffering. I know we all want to live life fully and live in joy. So it's definitely time to get centered in witness consciousness. It's time to begin noticing our blockages and their impact on us. As Singer writes, when you become one integrated seer, the single witness watching all these different things pass by inside, you are centered. You are clear. You are free. But when you don't sit in the seat of witness and your sense of being is split amongst all these diverse inner patterns, things become confusing. So let's take a look at that choice. Being clear and free or being confused. That choice is what most of us would say, duh. And how do you make that choice? Singer tells us what to do when there's a lot of inner commotion. The only lasting solution is to realize that it's the same you noticing it all. You are the one who is aware that your thoughts and emotions are shifting. It happens to us all the time. Just relax and be the one who notices. Be the one who sees the many. That's the path to self-realization. Relaxing might seem difficult in the midst of the messy emotions that attack us sometimes. And yet, taking a breath when you're angry or insecure or jealous or in fear really does help. I think that's why so many people were taught count to 10 before you say anything or before you take action. In those 10 seconds, we have a chance to step into witness consciousness. And in the chapter, The Cause of Moods and Emotions, Singer talks about our core energy flow, our shakti, being like a stream with no impediments, no rocks or obstacles, just flowing undisturbed. Witness consciousness can help us get back to that core energy flow. Unfortunately, our blockages from our samskaras are like rocks that we threw into the energy flow. So why would it not surprise us when disturbances and interesting currents start to appear? Singer reminds us, an emotion is caused by the shakti hitting the blockages in your heart and shooting out to release the blocked energies. I think it's significant that Singer points out that from a yogic point of view, one of three things happens when an energy flow comes up and approaches the heart. The first scenario is the energy is totally blocked. We don't feel it at all. Often people are so analytical and focused in their mind that they truly are disconnected from their heart. For them, emotions are just messy and sensitive, so they suppress them. The second scenario is energy makes it in and begins to hit stored blockages. We get moody and sensitive to what's happening around us. This is the most complicated scenario because depending on what blockages it hits and how strong they are, a lot of different emotions can occur. It can be as simple as a person using a word that triggers a past memory and we just want to explode. How dare they? I had a partner that used to call me stupid. And so when somebody said I was stupid, it triggered stuff. Or it could be love at first sight. Someone has the qualities of a person that you dearly love and that you hold in high value. And then there's a sensation of energy flowing out of your heart. However, Singer reminds us that the heart chakra is only the fourth chakra center. It's not the highest one. This brings us to the third scenario. Energy makes it all the way through and past the heart chakra into the higher energy centers. When this happens, our connections with others is much deeper and life becomes more and more beautiful. And to experience this, we learn to objectively watch our heart as it opens and closes. Singer tells us, what you will see is that the stored patterns from your past are getting activated by outside situations and causing the heart to open or close. Remember that something that I reminded you heard in the hearing, and it bears repeating because it's the essence of living untethered. The actual flow of love has to do with you and your heart. It has nothing to do with anybody else. So in his chapter, The Secrets of the Heart, Singer reminds us that storing samskaras is serious business with serious consequences. If we want love to last, if we want our hearts to stay open, we have to learn to handle situations in our life and move on rather than storing those blockages in our heart. We have to be the one to do it. It truly has nothing to do with anybody else. We have to be the one to process those moments of sorrow and pain so that we can move forward without our heart getting dammed up. We already know in this philosophy that we're all connected. So the outward flow of energy through our heart makes a connection with other people. Singer writes this: this connection is real, and you become attached as the energy is exchanged between you. This is not a physical attachment to one another. This is a reliance on the energy flowing between your hearts that is feeding you both energetically. Have you ever had an experience when you were upset with somebody and you had closed your heart off because of something that tapped into one of your past samskaras, and they pushed that button that you installed, and then all of a sudden the phone rings, it's your best friend, and you're chatting with them and your heart opens again? Singer describes these types of transactions as one in which the energy found a flow like the river around the lock. So our energy started flowing around that blockage. But the bad news is it didn't get rid of the blockage, it just found a way around it. When we tie our energy flow to another person, we do so like human love. It can be beautiful, and the state of our heart is now depending on whether that other person is loving us or saying something that upsets us. Our joy and our sorrow is impacted by their behavior. Hey, I've been there. Singer tells us the greatest secret of the heart is revealed when you get rid of the samskaras instead of finding a way around them. If you get rid of the samskaras that are restricting the energy from flowing into and through your heart, you will feel love all the time. Now, I think it would definitely be worth it to rid ourselves of those blockages if we could feel love all the time. Motivated? Hey, I'm motivated. How about you? When love becomes the core of your being and you feel whole, perfect, and complete within yourself, wow. Singer even has a term for it: self-effulgence. Yes, we experience human love when our energy gets to the middle of the heart chakra, where it can flow horizontally. And there is that higher level. Singer says, when this happens, the energy pours into the higher part of the heart and generates a permanent experience of pure love, strength, and overall well-being. Now we've moved out of the human heart and into what is truly the spiritual heart. When we experience energy without blockages, we know the presence of God. We know the force of love that's feeding us from the inside without awareness or need of the outside world. I've had those experiences. Everything we do, every breath we take, we feel love and inspiration. And it feels effortless. We can just love everybody, and we love everything that occurs in our lives. Our natural state is to be love. Wow, I want that. I want to be able to return to that natural state, to what we were talking about a couple of weeks ago, the empty mind, where nothing was stored to keep us from loving. Well, how do we do it? We start by being a witness to our blockages. Become a witness to your patterns so that you can be free of them and recognize those shifting energy patterns that don't define who you are. Start noticing those shifts in the mood or those expressions that you use. I'm feeling really down today. Hello. Check on that blockage. What is it that's creating that down feeling? I want to end with what Singer tells us. Removing blockages is spiritual purification. That is what life is all about. As you remove blockages, the energy will start to flow freely, and love will no longer be something you need or something you look for. You feel love and inspiration all the time. You actually have to hold yourself back to contain your passion for life, because there is such a powerful flow of energy feeding you from within. Your energy is coming from within effortlessly from its source. Not only can your heart feed you with unconditional love, but it is the gateway to the higher centers. Now that is something I definitely want to strive for. A heart that feeds me with unconditional love and a powerful flow of effortless energy coming from within. That sounds like living untethered to me. And so, in summary, how might you step fully into living untethered with a heart that feeds you unconditional love? Well, no love does not come from the outside. Remember, the flow of love is about the world coming in, the thoughts of our mind and the emotions of our heart, and our shakti, that powerful energy flow. So witness the dance of your energy flow. Notice what triggers the opening and closing of your heart, and get centered in witness consciousness. And when you're noticing your energy flow, if the energy is totally blocked, wake up your heart. If the energy is flowing a little, notice the blockage. And if the energy is flowing freely, enjoy the beauty of life. So here's your affirmation for the week. How is it I so willingly, energetically, and effortlessly remember love does not come from outside of me, stop letting my blockages close my heart, and experience the force of love feeding me from the inside? And I invite you to make a conscious choice this week to become a conscious witness to your samskaras. Allow your heart to feed you with unconditional love and a powerful flow of effortless energy that comes from within. Let's pray. We take a deep, nourishing breath, and we know that God is unconditional love. God is joy and freedom and happiness. And all that God is who I am. And in the oneness of life, it's who everyone on this planet is. What I know to be the truth is that we are each waking up to that witness consciousness this week. We are paying attention to the shifts in our moods, to how our emotions are happening, and what we're telling ourselves. And we are noticing that love does not come from the outside. It is truly an inside job. So I'm grateful that you've chosen to spend some time with us today. I am so grateful for your presence and for this opportunity to bring you ways in which you can learn to live untethered. And it's from the gratitude and from the knowing that right where you are, God is, that I release this prayer into the divine yes, knowing it's already done. So I can say amen, and we can affirm it together. And so it is. And I do want to take this opportunity to thank everyone who continues to support our center. It's important that we have funds coming in so that we can continue to produce these, and also so that we can find a place to have in-person services once again. And of course, when we do that, we'll continue to have the YouTube services as well. Have a great week and enjoy our offertory song.